What's up, guys? My name is Joey, and in this video, I'll be discussing Bitcoin price and the altcoin price and my previous statements on, for example, AnyPet and other cryptocurrencies that I'm personally invested in, right? So, Bitcoin went down from 44,000 down to it's now hanging around 39.9k, right? About 40k. So, it dropped around 10%, right? Now, is there any reason for concern? I personally don't think so, especially when we relativate. But if we look at the daily chart, it doesn't look as good. If we also look at the weekly chart, you can see that it's quite bad, right? But you need to take everything into perspective, because if we take, like, let's say the 3 months, even a monthly chart would be okay. We're still currently in a climb. Whereas if you look at the daily or the weekly chart, you might be a little bit concerned. But if you relativate, I don't think there's any reason for it. Now, if we also look at the all tab, now I want to take an example from back in 2017. I remember where the price was around $700-800 in the beginning of 2017, like $900, doesn't even matter. We went up all the way until almost 20,000. We just didn't manage to pass the 20,000 mark back in the days, as far as I can remember. Maybe on some other exchanges we did, but on CoinMarketCap it did not register that we went above 20k. Shortly after, we went all the way down back to about $3,600, right? And I can remember during this period of time there was a lot of panic, guys, and like there were even statements that Bitcoin was dead, no one was interested anymore, like who cares about Bitcoin? And also all the people that didn't believe in Bitcoin were like a little bit attacking the Bitcoin holders, right? For example, like, haha, look at you, you're holding Bitcoin, you're always talking about how much profit you made, look at you now, and pointing fingers, right? We all know what happened, of course, because in hindsight it's always nice to look back at history, because if we zoom out, we went absolutely bonkers 2 times even, and we will be again in the future. Okay, so always take price volatility with a grain of salt, always look at the history, and the common thought is that history will repeat itself, and it definitely looks like it. Now, if you zoom in all the way into the early days of Bitcoin did it multiple times, guys. Back in 2014, from $100 up to $1,000, and then went all the way back again to like $200, right? Bitcoin did it so many times, and these were hefty pullbacks, right? Whereas we only seen a 10% correction, right? There's not reason to be panicking at all. And all the altcoins are following Bitcoin in price. It's always been the case like that. So if you look at the graphs, it will all follow or look like similar as Bitcoin, because it follows the price action as Bitcoin. It's quite simple. There's a few projects that outrun Bitcoin sometimes. Often Bitcoin is the dominant asset class, right? So always follow Bitcoin. And therefore we come to the other topic, right? Like, do I have to be concerned with, for example, AnyPet? Because AnyPet, it's a project, a launchpad that we talked about earlier in our earlier videos. It went down again. So we started our first video at 2 cents, then we had a second follow-up video at 0.018 cents, and now it's at 0.014 cents. So it's going down again. But of course the Bitcoin value went down, so all the other projects and currencies are also going down in dollar value, right? But in BTC value, I don't think we lost as much. It's not as bad, right? It's basically the same price action as that Bitcoin is doing currently, but we are still in the uptrend if we look at the graph right here. So we went all the way down. If we watch the 7-day market, we went all the way down here, and now you can see that we are holding strong at the bottom currently. So that's perfect. Now, is there any reason for concern? Well, there might be, because as stated before, AnyPet, the team behind AnyPet, is not really known. They also announced a partnership with Digits Club, which is a YouTuber called Colin Digits. He made a couple videos about AnyPet, and they partnered up with the guy. I'm not certain if I'm a fan about that, because I would prefer to see new upcoming IDOs that are interesting for the community to participate within the launchpad. There's not really a need to create awareness around AnyPet. Whenever you don't have any IDOs, why would you put more assets into marketing, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. I want them to be focused on the website, which they are currently not doing so. At least that looks like it, if they come up with these type of partnerships that are, in my opinion, not really beneficial on the short or medium term, right? That's one of my concerns. Like if they would push their new website with some combined exciting new ideas, then 100% I guarantee you, with a grain of salt, of course, the price would go up. It doesn't have any reason if that happens for the price to continue to go down or to stay flat. Not a reason at all, because it's very low, guys. AnyPad is a launchpad where if you take the price in terms of allocation you're getting is pretty damn good, if not the best so far, if you compare it with any other launchpad in the game right now. So to make it more clear, I think an allocation right now costs around $300 to be tier 1, which is you have to hold 25,000 AnyPad tokens to be a guaranteed allocation for the next upcoming IDOs, which is very, very low entry point, guys, especially if you compare it to other launchpads, which have a much higher entry floor price to step in, right, for a guaranteed position. So I don't think it's bad. I still believe in AnyPad a lot. And remember, guys, we always want to keep our emotions under control, but we also have to state the facts, right? The fact is that Bitcoin is going down, so all the other prices are also going down normally. The team uh, could have done a little bit of a better job on the website or communicating around their website, like keep us warm, right? Keep us a little bit hyped up around the website and the new branding that they are going to push out, because we're still waiting for the big announcement that they announced a couple days ago. They basically said like, hey, we have a big announcement to make, and everyone is still waiting for that announcement. So I think they could have managed that a little bit better, but overall I still believe that they will deliver, because why would they have such a potential project go to loss, right? It doesn't make much sense, which again, it can happen, guys. This is not financial advice. I've seen projects going down. Meanwhile, they had a lot of potential. They had a great team, etc., etc. They still went down and basically died out. There are multiple projects that I can talk about that could show you guys the exact example. But yet again, like I think it's a good entry point, but do your own research. Yet again, I'm thinking about getting even a bigger position into AnyPad, because once the website does go live and there will be some new exciting upcoming IDOs, I personally believe the price will go high and basically have a potential to go to new all-time highs. And if we look at the alt tab of AnyPad, like we can see we are absolutely at the bottom, guys. We have never been so low. We are meeting new lower lows every single day, it seems like, which as an investor might seem a bad thing to step into, but that's exactly what you should do as an investor. You should dive into when it's at its lowest point, so you can sell and make profit when it's back on its highest point. That's how you make a lot of money, guys, within this space. But I get it. It goes a little bit against nature, right? It goes against your emotions, because when something is going down, it's a negative vibe around it. So it goes against your emotions to step in, because you're like, why would I step onto a sinking ship, right? I get the concern, but that's exactly what you should do as an investor if the project is good and if you did your research and if you believe that the project is there to stay and has a potential of going higher prices, right? Only then you should step on the so-called sinking ship. That's how you make money. So I'm personally not concerned. If you are concerned about the price action, that is completely understandable. Now, only always invest money that you can afford to lose. So never go beyond your own budget, bankroll management yourself a little bit in that regard. So whenever it does die out, which is a possibility, you won't be walking on the streets every single day, right? So that's a little bit of a disclaimer. So overall, I think I'm really not concerned. Like I'm really not concerned overall. Like I've stated before, I started investing into 2016, and I get it. I understand the emotions. I had to endure so many pullbacks with Bitcoin. It's been a very heavy roller coaster for me. So therefore, a little price action doesn't bother me as much anymore, because I've wintered through a couple of these very major pullbacks, guys, and it becomes better every single time it happens, right? You'll be able to get more control over your own emotions and see what the best thing to do is, because in my opinion, if it's all the way back down and you bought more Bitcoin over here, you did a great job, right? Because it went all the way back up. Now, of course, we are talking about Bitcoin right here, but the same applies to any pet in the same regards. If you think it's a good project, like this is the region we want to step in, right? This is not the region when we want to sell, especially when we think about its potential. So that's that's a little bit of information about Bitcoin price. Now, another reason for the small pullback could also be news like Brussels are looking at more opportunities to regulate the market a little bit more. They want to minimize the possibility of money laundering. Of course, they're still looking at certain options if they could apply that to the market to regulate a little bit more. That could be a little bit affecting the price. And of course, the Feds and their interest rates are still on the horizon. Whether they should lower or higher the interest rates, that also might be a indication. There's also another big concern that I personally have is about Tether. Tether is a stable coin that you might heard of. This is it. It's a stable coin. So $1 equals $1, right? A lot of people, when the market turns a little bit bearish, step into these type of stable coins. But Tether especially is a little bit shady, guys. There are good videos on YouTube that explains exactly why you should be a little bit concerned about Tether and why you should probably stay away from Tether. And if Tether collapses and combined the Feds raising the interest rates, yeah, that could be very bad for Bitcoin. But again, that will be short or medium term, because long term Bitcoin will survive, guys. That's my opinion. I'm here for the long run and I'm not that concerned, guys. I will probably for AnyPad allocate a little bit more tokens, and also for other projects, guys, because AnyPad is not the only project that I'm looking at currently. Of course, there are also other projects that hopefully I'll be able to make a video about next, because whenever the market is down, that's when we want to buy, guys. See it as a Black Friday sale, right? Whenever I see red tags, I don't panic, but I see discounts, right? So that's my perception of the market. We can also look at the fear and greed index. We are currently at 25. That's pretty low. It's not the lowest. Basically, the higher the number is, the more positive people are about the market, right? And the lower the number is, the more fear there is in the market. So usually what I do, the lower this number is, the more I'm willing to invest into projects or to create a bigger position into projects that I'm currently already invested in, right? So the lower this number, the better for me. The higher the number, the more I'm willing to maybe sell a little bit of projects and earn a little bit of profit here and there, right? Because taking profits is also one thing you should think about. You should already be ready for when you want to sell. You need an exit strategy as well, okay, guys, in order to be a good investor, in my opinion. You always need a buy-in strategy, but you always also need a exit or taking profit strategy. Now, I can always tell you and explain you guys how I do these strategies or what my perspective is. I'll probably make a video about that next as well. So remember, guys, be a leader in this space. So remember, guys, always do your own research. Also, always take whatever I say with a grain of salt and really have your own opinion, because that is the most important, guys. Only take bits of information from me that you find interesting, apply them to yourself, iterate them, debate them with other people, and develop your own identity as an investor, because that is the most important, guys. Remember, be a leader and do not be a sheep. Peace out, guys. See you guys in the next video. Peace out. Ciao.